I was trained on how to actually coach parents live in the room, like in real life, not, hey, okay, you know, when your child's doing this, do that. No, like in the moment. Okay, your child's not listening. Okay, let's go. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Dr. Jasmine. I am a licensed clinical psychologist, and I'm also a mom of 2 little girls. And so before we jump into this video about timeouts, I just want to quickly just let you guys know that if you are watching this live, there's only 3 more days to join my private parent coaching community called the Mom Sisterhood. It is a closed group of awesome moms who have young children and they're looking for more support and more guidance. And as of Friday, January 29th, I will be closing the doors. I'm not sure when I'm going to be reopening. The short story or the short backstory about my private parent coaching community is that every month parents get a fresh new masterclass on topics ranging from discipline, tantrums, aggression, sibling rivalry, co-parenting, play, child development. I mean, just there's a wide variety of information that you get every month. You also get access to my coaching. I will be on a live call with my members every month answering questions. So you get to not only ask your questions, but you also get to, you know, eavesdrop and listen in on what other people are asking and what I have to say about their questions. So there's that. And then I think my favorite part of the whole community, or the whole, I should say, coaching, private coaching community, is the actual community itself, full of moms just like you who want more guidance, want more clarity, and want more support and just to be around a supportive community of like-minded moms. So in there, they're bouncing off ideas, sharing their wins, asking questions, getting feedback, just venting, just to, you know, know that we're not alone. But overall, it is a very uplifting and supporting community, and I love you guys. If you're already in the sisterhood, shout yourself out. I love y'all. Y'all are just, y'all lit. So 3 more days to join my private parent coaching community. The doors will be closing midnight Friday, January 29th. Not sure when they're going to reopen. So if you're on the fence, if you're struggling, or maybe you've got this, you're feeling confident, but maybe you want to keep feeling confident and you want that added boost of just support, feedback, know that you're held and loved and supported, the Mom Sisterhood is it. So link will be in the description if you want to find out more information and how to join. I would love to see you there. It is www.themomspsychologist.com/sisterhood to find all the details. Again, the link will be in the description. Okay, let's jump into the video. So when it comes to discipline, okay, let me back up a little bit. When it comes to discipline and helping your child make good choices and learn new behaviors and teach lagging skills, there are so many different approaches out there, right? So many different tools that you can add to your toolkit. And I am a fan of, as a clinical psychologist, I am a fan of teaching parents a wide variety of tools and tips and tricks. Not only because all of our approaches are different, right? And what works one day might not work another day, so we need some variety. But it also helps us in feeling more confident overall and helping to support our child, right? Which is the bigger picture of all of this. And a common question that I get is, okay, Dr. Jasmine, do you recommend timeouts? What's your whole perspective on this? Because as you may know, in the parent coaching community, specifically the positive parenting community, there is an argument out there that goes a little something like this, okay? You shouldn't put your child in timeouts. It's bad for the relationship, generally, is what they'll say, and that you should instead do time ins. You should connect with your child. You should focus on that when they're struggling and having a hard time versus putting them in a timeout. And I know that there is a lot of conflicting information out there, or there's a lot of information that's just like, no, don't do timeouts, right? And so it can be very confusing, right? Especially if you've done a timeout and maybe you feel like it works, or maybe it feels like in line with your overall approach. It can be a little confusing. You might be finding yourself second guessing yourself, which is, I guess, why you clicked on this video. Or maybe you just want me to, you just want to hear what I got to say about it. So let's get into that. First, I want to share a little quote with you guys that I came across. As I was just doing my research. Now, I will tell you this, okay, but let me cut to the chase. As a clinical psychologist, okay, I have my doctorate in clinical psychology, and I was trained on how to teach parents how to give a timeout. Okay, I was trained by UC Davis through a modality, a parenting approach, or not a parenting approach, a treatment approach called parent-child interaction therapy. Okay, so I was trained on how to actually coach parents live in the room, like in real life, not, hey, okay, when your child's doing this, do that. No, like in the moment. Okay, your child's not listening. Okay, let's go. Let's do this, right? And I trained them on how to do a script, how to learn a script, how to learn a certain way to do it, because when it comes to timeouts, you have to understand that intentionality is key. So I think timeouts have gotten a bad rep because they're often done incorrectly, I guess, or out of anger, right? Or there's missing steps. So anyways, I wanted to share this quote that I came across, and it says, "The severe punishment and social isolation that is commonly done in the name of timeouts is harmful." And this is coming from Dr. Dan Siegel, who I respect a lot. He has authored so many great books, including The Whole Brain Child and The No Drama Discipline. He's also the clinical professor of psychiatry at the UCLA, okay? And so in 2014, he co-wrote an article for Time. And what he did was he highlighted brain imaging research that found social exclusion and physical pain trigger similar patterns of brain activity. He also wrote that isolating a child in timeout may deny the child's profound need for connection during times of distress. While some varieties of timeouts are appropriate, okay, listen to that. While some varieties of timeouts are appropriate, namely those that are brief and infrequent, those that involve care and kindness, and those that do not isolate a child, Siegel says that in practice, timeouts are often administered inappropriately. And that's the key here. Okay, so it got a lot of buzz and everybody was picking it up because they're like, oh my God, timeouts don't work. We shouldn't be doing timeouts. We shouldn't be recommending parents to do timeouts. But the key here is that you have to do it appropriately. And that's where the problem lies, right? Is that commonly, because I feel like timeouts are something that, like I said, I was taught and trained how to do it in the moment. And that, it's hard, right? When you're writing a book, you're writing an article, you're making a video on YouTube to teach parents how to do this correctly, right? Because there's so many nuances to this. And oftentimes parents need a lot of support in troubleshooting, which is why I do what I do, right? Because I'm here to support you guys. So there's nothing that I can, that's why I do feel like, and probably why I've shied away from this topic, is because I feel like I would be doing a disservice to you to try to teach this in a YouTube video. Like, this content is not really appropriate for a YouTube video or a blog article, I don't think, because what happens is you're gonna go try out what I say. Then you're going to have all these questions. You might do it incorrectly, or, you'll make a mistake as you go along, which is, par for the course. And then you're either going to be like, okay, this doesn't work. Dr. Jasmine doesn't know what she's talking about. Or you're going to feel really overwhelmed, confused. And you're going to be like, no, I need to give up on timeouts, which makes sense, right? But I want to also share just another study with you before I get into kind of some more tips and tricks when it comes to timeouts. But there was a study that was done in 2019, and it was issued, or it was published in the Journal of Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics, and it was on a study of 1,400 families. And what they found, because they analyzed the developmental data of the kids beginning at around age 3, continuing up to when the kids reached age 11 and 12, and they found that among the families who reported using timeouts as a form of discipline, kids were not at an increased risk for anxiety, depression, aggression, rule-breaking behaviors, or self-control problems, compared to those who came from families who did not do timeouts. Creativity scores were also the same, regardless of whether a family employed a timeout. And what they say, the assistant professor Rachel Knight at the University of Michigan, she wrote, no matter how we sliced or diced or weighted or controlled the data, we found no evidence that using timeouts was associated with bad outcomes. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Recent study, 2019, 1,400 families. No matter how we sliced or diced or weighted or controlled the data, we found no evidence that using timeouts was associated with bad outcomes. Okay, so just kind of want to preface that there's research out there, of course. With all things parenting, do your research, right? Find an approach that works for you, and most importantly, your child. But what I want to talk about a little bit are the best practices when it comes to timeouts, right? What are the things that you should try your best to do if you're going to implement a timeout? And the number one thing is decide what behavior warrants a timeout, okay? Because not all misbehavior warrants a timeout. And as I think I've already published, I don't know when this video goes live, I probably will have already published the video about consequences, right? And the thing about consequences is that it's nuanced, right? And not one consequence is not going to fit for every single behavior. There's so many tools that you can have in your toolbox, because not everything is going to work for every situation. So you got to kind of, you got to use what works in that moment with your child, with their different age and stage, with the situation. And so timeouts don't work in every situation. And so you have to be very, very clear about what behavior warrants a timeout and what behavior doesn't, okay? The next best practice when it comes to timeouts is to decide beforehand where the timeout will be and for how long, okay? Generally what happens, okay, I'll just give you a quick tip. It should never be in your child's room. They should never be closed off from, a part of the family, I will say. Of course, it should be in a certain location, so you want to decide where that location should be, but you should be able to see your child. Okay, you should be able to lock eyes on them. You should know what they're doing when they're in a timeout, just like they should know what you're doing when they're in a timeout. Now, it's not to say we're interacting with our child during a timeout, okay, but you should not be secluding them ideally speaking, you should not be secluding them in a separate room or in their own room. You don't want to associate their room with negative feelings either, okay? So anyways, just you want to decide where you're going to have it and for how long. Generally speaking, the shorter the better. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. The next thing you want to decide on is have a plan for when, not if, but when your child refuses to go to timeout, okay? Because they will. Nobody wants to sit on timeout. So what are you going to do? What's your plan? What's your plan B? You got to know your plan. And this is what I coach parents on, because oftentimes you'll be like, okay, I put them in timeout, but they didn't stay. Okay, it didn't work. And it's like, okay, well, yeah. Nobody really wants to sit on timeout, so you're gonna get some feedback. You're gonna get some kickback, okay? And that's okay. That's par for the course. But you need to have a plan for what you're gonna do when they refuse to sit in timeout. Okay, major key. Overall, timeouts are best used when they are intentional. Again, when you have a plan in place, right? And when, ideally speaking, it's not always possible, but ideally, in a good world, right? In an ideal world, all of the caregivers will be on the same page about the plan so that everybody's implementing it consistently. Again, it's not imperative. You can have your own style, you can have your own plan and do it that way. But ideally speaking, it's best if everybody's on the same plan. Second, it's best if it's not done in anger, right? That you're more robotic and you're more just, you've got a script. That's why I teach parents a certain script. What to say, how to say it, when to say it, and when to zip your lips. right? So it's best when it's done intentionally and not done out of anger and frustration. Major key. And then it's best, okay, I'm gonna leave you guys with this one. It's best if it is in the context of a loving and connected parent-child relationship, okay? Your best tool when it comes to parenting is your relationship with your child. That's how we do all the work, okay? That's where the good work happens, is when you have a loving, close, connected relationship with your child. And that's why I will always teach that first and save the timeouts for the very last. The timeouts are like the icing on the cake, okay? The timeouts are for certain things and certain situations. It's not for everything, right? It's not, and it's definitely not your main parenting tool, okay? Because your main parenting tool is always going to be your relationship with your child, connecting with them, making sure you're spending one-on-one playtime with them, which is why I host a play challenge every first week of the month, especially on my Instagram page at The Mom Psychologist. So if you're not following me on Instagram, what are you doing with your life? Make sure you're following me on Instagram, because every first week of the month, I host a play challenge where I devote all of my content, all of my tips and tricks, all on the topic of play. And I try to also upload videos on here that first week of the month on play. So look out for that. But major key, it should be in the context. You should be implementing timeouts in the context of a loving relationship with your child, okay? Again, timeouts and also removal of privileges, which I coach parents on too. I'm okay with both of those, okay? I'm okay with them. And I implement them with my children. So they're highly effective in increasing compliance, right? Increasing the likelihood that your child will listen to you and follow your directions. And they also help you feel more confident and feel like you know what you're doing, right? Which is really important in parenting, right? And I think that's why you're probably clicked on this video, is you want to be in the know. You want to feel like you know what you're doing, right? And so having another tool in your toolbox will help you feel more confident, feel more like, all right, I got this, okay? We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this because mama knows what she's doing, okay? So, you know, that is why I actually, in February, I'm going to be having a masterclass on timeouts and removal of privileges. So if this is a topic that is interesting to you, if this is a skill that you want to have in your toolbox, if you want to learn how to do this the correct way, okay, because there is a right and wrong way to do this. If you want to have the script, if you want to be able to ask me questions and get help along this journey, then be sure you sign up for my private parent coaching community called the Mom Sisterhood. Again, the doors are closing in just 3 days, okay? So if you're watching this live, I really encourage you to join. Click that link in the bio. If you are watching this after the fact, no worries. Make sure you are you are on my wait list, because that will be the best way you will find out as soon as the doors open up again, okay? Because this is a closed community. I like to have space and time and opportunity to love on my current members, so I do close it and keep it closed for a length of time. So make sure you join now if you're interested. If you want that monthly masterclass, if you want the monthly Q&As, we also do guest expert workshops. We have a private community. It's like a Facebook group, but it's away from Facebook, away from social media and the noise and the ads and the distractions. And so make sure you click the link or visit www.themomspsychologist.com/sisterhood if you are at all interested in this community. I would love to have you. I cannot wait to love on the new people that are coming into this community, and I just know I'm going to be attracting such bomb and amazing moms, because I've already attracted so many already. And shout out to you if you're already in the sisterhood. I love y'all. And I think that's it for this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.